Hey everyone, welcome to episode 169, nice, of VarangianLP. We're playing some high-level D&D tonight. Should be a good time.
Well, we're
Say
we're
numerically high level. Nothing can be promised about the quality.
no, and also, if you're watching, I'm very sorry. This game has been going on for 2 years. The last time we streamed it, I tried to summarize everything, and I'm never doing that again.
Yeah,
So you can just try to keep up or fail. I'm sorry, but fuck you.
that's okay. I was
Uh,
gonna wait till this game was done, but I was like, nah,
I
the
I
stream
also
must go on.
I also have things that I'm planning to do once this game is done, but then this game just doesn't end. So But speaking of this game not ending, who remembers what happened last time?
We fought a dragon demigod, it feels like. Demi, hemi, semigod.
The simulacrum of one, yes.
The simulacrum of one, yes. There's no polite way to say do a coup.
I mean,
But it was mostly bloodless, right?
there's some legitimacy to your claim. Like, it's not coming out of left
I
field.
mean, yeah, coup is only if you. It's a coup only if we lose and someone else takes takes over.
No,
It's a coup if you fail.
It's a coup if I fail. No,
It's a revolution, damn it.
we are Aragorn, son of Arathorn.
Yeah, it's the return of the king. It's fine.
Exactly, we're fine.
It's good. Fuck
yeah.
Denethor,
To-
or whoever
to take-
was
to
being
take over,
Denethor.
Small, highly militant kingdom, because why the hell not?
Small, yes. This entire region down here is full of mercenary half orcs.
Yeah.
How did you?
Oops.
Why? How did you become Aragorn?
Is it supposed to say that?
Well, there's obviously of such noble stock. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, you are.
we-
You are from a noble house.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. But the main claim to fame in this case is breaking into a Archwizard's demiplane to
You signed the guest book. I don't know if you broke
yeah.
it.
Uninvited guests.
we fought our way to.
But yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, fought our way to and entered an arcane wizard of great powers demiplane to meet the first emperor, and rather like, grabbing Narsil, taking up the axe of the first emperor Aguila.
Mhm.
There has been some space battle since then, fighting with a ancient, well, we don't know how old they are, alien species from, I won't say beyond the stars, because the galaxy seems to be considerably smaller than they think.
It's smaller than they'd like their people to think it is.
Yeah, exactly. But the whole point was to go take the fight to space.
Mhm.
Now I believe the current plan is to make a quick stopover at Shatterstone, where there is two very important things. Less important, the remains of the nobility and politicians who escaped the bombing of home,
Mhm.
and Gromash, the new emperor's mother, who's invited him to dinner.
Several days ago.
He's very late.
Very, because especially since at the rate that we play, several in-game days has been months, if not a year. So
Yeah.
very, very late to a dinner invitation, which you were in exile at the time the invitation was offered. So there's a lot of signals going on with you both not coming to dinner and not responding in any way, as far as I know. Been kind of radio silent from you. Did anything else significant happen last session?
I mean, a somewhat pointed ultimatum from a alien warlord seeking to become a god by eating his siblings and own mother.
Ah, yes, I forgot about that part.
Yeah. The old soul eating. Yes, Giran essentially broadcast himself through the atmosphere to the entire population of Fantasia and said, "Hi, give me 3 people, and I leave you all alone for a couple thousand years. And just to show you that I mean business, I'm going to drop another rock on a city." And one of our players decided, no, that's not going to happen, and invoked the sacrifice play, whereby their character irrevocably died, but in exchange, they just got control of the session. So, Tom, what happened there?
So our beloved mascot, Frankie, who had gone on a journey from being an ex-employee, going back to school, dropping out very quickly, coming back, turning into a robotic body, decided that instead of allowing a very sort of thought of betrayal from the offer that we were offered to kind of save the city, sacrificed himself by turning into a being of pure energy that manifests as himself, all of his former friends and colleagues that died in a horrible death, all on board a train that shot straight through into space, took that rock that was flying towards that would kill or attempt to kill thousands of people, and turned it into a little pebble that's now following it, and took one of our first sort of bad or people that betrayed us for the first time when we were level 1, with him as he blasted off into the unknown. Where he goes, we don't know. But he left behind quite a bit of purple emberstone dust that has fallen upon a populace that will no doubt have some consequences later, and instantly and generationally down the line.
There's an entire slipstream of dust in the atmosphere that's just going to make everybody that breathes it a sorcerer. So that'll be a problem at some point, probably, or maybe it won't be a problem. Maybe it'll be fine. But also importantly, by taking the teeth out of that ultimatum, you've reduced the planet's respect for the threat by some margin. So the number of people that are going to try to come hunt you down has been severely limited. I do also very much just like for Frankie's character that the thing that he sacrificed himself for was to prevent the party from going into debt. Like it was very much a no more debts kind of situation, which had been very much the bane of Frankie's existence, sort of being in debt to the Hydra Express from birth, essentially, had kind of dominated his destiny, much like the dark side. Yes, Frankie sacrificed himself, saved the day. You all, in your coup, counteracted a different coup that was going on. So the Platinum Orc, Caligula Orc, Consul of Midasine, is now fully on board with Grom being the Emperor instead of him being the Emperor. There's been some discussion of maybe at some point making a plan. Maybe. While you all have come to Tuscar to deal with to seize power unlawfully or very lawfully, there's been a gathering of military forces in the forests of Tharbad near Jarl's Lodge. That's going on. There is a mild war between Araqueth, California, and Hezron that's going on in the east. The doctor has realized that she has a transportation circle for a quote-unquote nearby Black TriStar base that would have sufficient vehicles and weaponry to sort of transport your terrestrial armed forces into space.
Space.
I have also come to the realization that I have been probably a little too hands-off in figuring out space. making that same mistake that I did when I said, okay, you are in a vehicle, how would you like to defend it? Without fully explaining the mechanics of how a vehicle worked. And then I never did vehicle combat ever again. So we should probably worry a bit less about space, because it's just one more road to travel through to get to where we need to go. So the goal, the end of the campaign, is still in space, but yeah, I don't really know where I was going with that.
That's good enough.
Yeah. I feel like I'm forgetting something.
My grandma used to say, if it's important, you'll remember it. And even if that's not true, it makes you feel better. Because then it's if you forget it, it's unimportant. If you remembered it, then you needed it. So, in a way, it's true.
Yeah.
Something's important enough, you ain't forget.
Yeah.
All right, anyway.
So I believe we left you all... Last we left you, you were in Midasine, intending to go to Shatterstone.
Yes.
Would you like to do that? There is still, like, you have given the, hey, everybody get ready to go to war speech. So the crowd that had gathered for your triumphant return of Aguila, I am the Emperor now speech. No, that's literally what it was. I know I said that sarcastically, but that was very much a triumphant victory speech. That crowd has very much dispersed. Also, your fiancée, Grom, Tigress, is around.
Mm-hmm.
Very happy to see you. So yeah, there is that strange ring of purple stones left behind by Frankie's departure on the ground. There is, a bit of blood from all of you spilled on the floor. The cobbles and the teleportation circle sort of raised dais that you're currently standing on. Caligulaork has made himself scarce to continue fulfilling the new imperial edict of get everyone on a war footing as quickly as possible.
Say, I will wander over to this ring of purple glowing stone.
Okay.
And inspect it.
Would you like to roll me an Arcana or an investigation check?
Of the two, I'm terrible at both of them, but I am considerably better at investigation.
Investigation.
You could also get Zephyr to help you.
Zephyr, would you like to help? You're very good at investigation.
He's a nerd. He might know stuff.
I mean, Delight is also a nerd.
Yeah, that's why it's Tim saying it, not
Oh.
Delight. Delight would never. That would be too mean. Maybe you should help Grom out, Zephyr. That's what Delight. That's how Delight would say.
Yes, I would definitely assist.
Would you like to assist, or would you like to make the roll with assistance? So I think that's what the push is. I think that's the push.
I mean, do what makes you happy,
I have a +8 to investigation. I think yours might be a bit higher.
Yes.
Which at level 20, that's not.
That's proficiency and a +2 modifier.
Yeah.
That's
good.
That's Titanic.
There's good and there's best.
But anyway, with assistance.
Does anyone have guidance?
Have guidance, Jeremiah.
I also have guidance.
That's what?
Someone will give you guidance.
Wait,
Grom casting a
did
spell?
Grom just cast guidance? If
Maybe
so,
a little bit.
we need to hear what that looks like.
Yes, please.
Grom will glance over as he's helping you, and then the various inlaid tattoos. A very small one on the back of his hand will light up, and you feel perhaps like you've got, a D4's worth of extra
Shapes.
inspiration.
Okay. Okay.
So, help, guidance, your modifier. What does
A bit of Frankie.
Yeah, say a little bit of Frankie is left over
Frankie
in
dust.
Grom, as it turns out. Frankie dust.
He definitely has like a cloth over his mouth trying to avoid breathing purple dust, but
Yeah. Most of the time, Grom's tattoos light up in reds and blues. This is purple.
Mm.
so that is with everything a 30.
It's 30. All right, Tom, what is this?
So what you get a sense of is that it is a teleportation-esque sort of. It's a portal, but it doesn't. You get the sense from it that it's not complete. So it's like you with a 30 you know pretty well that wherever it's going it's not connected yet. But once it's connected, it would be either a gateway or a teleportation circle.
Is there any indication of where it's going?
Death.
So the planar afterlife, like
No, it seems like it has a physical, like it would go to a place within this realm. So
On
I guess
on this planet or elsewhere?
on this planet.
Okay. I think that's sufficient for a 30. You would also be able to tell that the what it's comprised of, the purple stone itself, is whatever the term for psychoactive but with magic is. You think
illusion magic, I guess.
No, not allow me to use words that actually make sense. You think that if you were to interact with these rocks, you could siphon away a bit of the power that it's currently using to sort of begin to generate this portal into yourself. And you think really anyone could do that. It's probably not toxic, but it is definitely life-altering.
Fun.
Do you want to touch the rock?
I do not want to touch the rock, thank you. But I will pass this along, information along to everyone, so they have the options if they wish.
I'm really tempted to touch the rock.
Does anyone want to touch the rock?
The assumption
Wait.
being like that direction for power, or does it just seem like it would do like? Is it more chaotic or structured?
I think it is not unstable.
Okay.
Wait, so this is Emberstone left behind by Frankie? Is
Yes,
that correct?
if-
Okay, just
If
making
you
sure.
had someone in the party capable of knowing that, that would be the answer.
Right.
But I don't know if anyone can
Well,
recognize Emberstone
yeah.
without call
I
to being
just
around.
had a chatter asking what was special about it, so I wanted to be
Oh,
sure.
We're in the process of finding out.
Yeah, but it's magic. It's magic rocks that made Frankie magic.
Okay,
Is
Zephyr.
basically what I told him.
Now's your time to shine. Touch the rock.
Drink the soup, touch the rock.
Well, here's the thing. In the captain's mind, I actually remembered to say at that time.
You've been promoted for
There you
like
go.
6 months, and we're
Hey,
now
it's tough. You've been a
Yeah.
Sarge for as long as he has.
It's magic that has like whatever this thing is trying to become a portal.
Mhm.
And he is not satisfied with his ability to get GTFO like 2 minutes ago.
True.
So with permission from his lady,
She does not prevent you from anything that you feel would be helpful or wise.
wise, not sure about. Helpful, potentially.
Yeah, Yeah, no, I think all of us are
And
resisting
so, what's
the urge.
the mechanism that we think would confer touching it or eating it or?
Licking
Touch-
it.
Touching it, licking it, inhaling it in a powdered form, all of this would do something.
Ooh.
Grind it up, suspend it in oil, and insert it into your cloaca.
Also valid. What would you like to do?
Well, I mean, I if it's doing something, it seems a shame to like just bust it up to try to get a piece of it or whatever. But if if being like on top, like being inside the circle or touching it is going to confer something, that's where he'll start.
Okay. So you touch it.
Yeah.
You enter the circle and you touch a rock. Could you make me a Constitution saving throw?
You know it.
Yeah, Mickey, I don't think it's about completing the circle. It's more just that there is a magic stone circle here now. And we're figuring
Is
out what
this,
to do about it.
poison-y related at all?
No.
Okay. Constitution saving throw, I rolled pretty darn well. So 21.
21. Congratulations. You gain spell slots, sorcery points, and spells known as though you were a 3rd level sorcerer with the Aberrant Mind subclass.
Ooh,
Oh, damn.
Everybody goes into.
that's cool.
All right.
I think I'll leave
Just
that
a
alone,
second, I gotta write
thanks.
this down.
So no more hit points, but class features. You're already a multi-level, multi-class spellcaster, so gosh, I don't know. Do you have any partial caster levels?
Yeah,
That's
so
happening
I
now?
have the warlock stuff, which is sort of chunked
Oh yeah,
out,
that doesn't matter for.
and I have some rogue levels that are chunked out,
Okay.
but I do have some ranger levels.
Okay, so assume you have 3 levels of sorcerer and your ranger levels when calculating your spell slots.
Okay.
And
Which is great,
I
'cause
leave you
ranger
to
is
do that
like
math.
almost nothing for that.
Yeah.
Free
I think a
magic.
3rd.
Wait, so yeah, you've got magic from every casting modifier now.
Wisdom, charisma.
Does he have anything?
The
No, that's
rogue,
just
the
charisma
rogue.
and
Oh,
wisdom,
the
right?
okay. I thought the rogue did spellcasting. My bad.
No, I'm an assassin rogue,
Okay,
not
that
a,
actually makes more sense.
Wait, am I an assassin rogue? Hold on.
I don't know what anyone is.
You're at so many things.
At this point, really?
Yes.
Okay.
I never knew.
I
what
couldn't
anyone-
remember if I was the subclass from the guns
Oh,
one
true.
that Dave
True.
put together.
True. We did
But
talk
no,
about
I stuck with assassins.
Yeah, you've got meta magic now too.
Yeah, you are learning D&D watching this. It's people doing a bunch of random shit and rolling dice occasionally.
Do not try. do not try to learn from this. This has been so heavily homebrewed.
What not to do.
Hey,
This
Do not do this.
For someone who doesn't know anything about it, it gives you an idea of what happens during sessions.
So this is, yeah, in general principles, but this is
best described as high-level mathematical nonsense.
Yep.
it's a stage of the game that players rarely get to.
Yep.
That I have been, I think, overly generous with homebrewed magic items in,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
and no, do not. But hopefully find enjoyment. So yeah,
Okay, so
Tom,
3rd level
what visual
sorcerer
3rd level sorcerer?
Aberrant
with
mind.
the aberrant mind.
It's a fun subclass.
Tom, what visual indication is there now on Captain Yumi from this power? Does he have purple sparkles that
So
leave behind in a trail?
Feel a
As-
strong urge to smoke.
You know, it's one of these. As he exhales, there's just a little bit of purple smoke kind of coming out. It's like it's cold, not like a billowing smoke, more like a cold air. It's like cold and you can see your breath.
A mist.
Yeah, a mist, exactly. And his eyes have sort of they have taken on a little bit more. It's sort of a subtle, like robotic, or like they look a little bit metallic within his sort of, and it's mainly in like the veins, just kind of have a more irony kind of.
He is a Thrycreen, so he's got those like big compound eyes. So just some of the panels a bit metallic now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so it's very
That's
clear
cool.
because of Captain Yumi being how he is. You can see on smaller eyes it probably would be a little bit more subtle.
Say, less organic, more skyscraper kind of windows. That's horrifying. Thank you for that image.
Also-
It will haunt us tonight.
Kregnus,
Yeah.
with Captain Yumi being a Thrycreen, does he breathe through the mouth and nose, or does he have little like spiracles?
Spiracles.
The things that insects have, little holes they have.
Yeah, the spiracles. I was answering the question.
Okay, sorry. I thought you may have been asking for clarification.
Nope.
But yeah, so
the tank engine vibe.
so yeah, every exhale, there's just these thin little streams or little puffs of like faint purple powder.
You say you've given him the spiracles of smoldering.
Yeah. But that was a successful interaction with the rock. Would anyone like to try an unsuccessful interaction with the rock?
Kind of.
There's part of me that wants to roll the dice again because that's been my character story the entire time.
Roll the dice.
Oh, so he's been learning.
I'm saying-
smarter.
Zephyr, your wizard's arc has been learning not to touch things. I feel that.
Yeah.
So you're allowed to not do this.
I will forego this once.
Okay.
I will reach down and touch the rock, especially since you mentioned some amber disc kind of thing. Tom?
Amber disc.
Did you mention an amber disc?
I think I'm just talking about the shape.
Okay, sorry, my brain clearly missed.
Now there's an amber disc in the middle of the circle of purple stones. It's always been there. I just now noticed it. Amazing what you.
Nope, sorry, I misread Emberstone as Amberstone. That would do it.
There's an amber disc in there. Now.
I probably missed.
He's like, if that'll convince somebody to try it.
It's amber stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Are you reaching into the center of the circle to touch the amber disc in the center of the emberstone circle?
You know what? Yes. Why the hell not at this point?
Make me a Constitution saving throw. I know you're so bad at those. As a
Yeah, no, terrible.
Remember, you re-roll 20s.
Let me got 28.
28. That is a big number.
Too shy of what you need.
Oh, see, I'm rolling against your spell save DC, right, Sam?
Oh, then yeah. You...
What would you like to have happen?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I genuinely have no clue.
Well, what was going? What did you think was the reference being made?
The amber disc is from crystallized Dimble Dargle special.
More on that later.
Say, Tim, stop helping.
Hey, stop asking.
So one of the fun things about D&D is sometimes things happen that you don't intend.
Ooh.
So, Rob.
Oh dear. Yes. Oh, master, my master.
You may have one of the following two things.
Oh no.
You may either have exactly what I just gave Gregus. You may have the spellcasting and sorcerer points of 3 levels of sorcerer and the aberrant mind subclass, all that shenanigans.
Okay.
Or you can add psychic and force damage to the effects that you are resistant to and that you deal out in damage when you do your rage.
Mm.
So two more resistances, and either an additional d6 for your targeted lightning thing, or an additional proficiency modifier of damage for your whenever you do your fire thing in both psychic and force.
So option 2 sounds very good. Point of order, because of the feat I took, I am already resistant to force damage.
You could choose another resistance of your choice then.
Excellent. I'll take that, please.
Psychic and one other thing. Okay. Tom, what visual thing changes about Grom? In
So
a minor way.
As Grom like reaches in to the ember orb of diskness, it looked solid, but when you touched it, it just kind of turned almost into a soup-like substance. But
Soup.
as it kind of went all the way up your arm, and kind of, it almost looked like it completely encased your arm, where your arm for a moment looked just like it was made out of ember stone. But then it just kind of sinks into your skin, and your arm returns back to normal, but all of your tattoos are now outlined with a purple, like it's a black but sparkling with purple outline. Like your tattoos are suddenly far more defined in an aesthetically pleasing way to grow.
No, I
You
think
would
that's
say
very
improves it as opposed to changes it. Hopefully.
It's always risky giving one player influence over another character's appearance.
Well, I say the tattoos were already more like engravings because of the mishap with a fire giant lich's heart. Don't ask. Mishap. Yeah.
Intentional eating.
Yes, consumed it with great gusto. But if you're adding purple in there, then I would suggest that they are now inlaid with a layer of amethyst at the bottom.
There we go.
That's cool.
There we are. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, that also ties in with that amethyst lodestone you've got chunked in your chest.
Yeah, I would say they go all the way to that.
Yeah.
And Grom probably doesn't notice at first, but like under the armpit, there's just a little Frankie initial.
If you're tattooing my armpit, I noticed immediately. This shit hurts.
The nice thing about magic is it doesn't have to involve a needle.
True.
That's something Tigris will discover later.
Somewhere on your body, there's a Frankie mark. Who knows how long it will take?
A little turtle shell and a cigar.
Where did you get a tramp stamp?
Yes.
I gotta.
Okay, you know, Captain Yumi now has one on his left thorax.
That is the sexiest thorax. I like.
No, I think Stormbreaker is. Stormbringer? Thorax?
Thorax, yes. I understand now.
We're following your reference there. It took us a minute, but...
All I can say is when Tom mentioned soup and things flowing up your arm, all I could think of was any sex scene with Odo from Deep Space Nine. That's all I could think of.
Well, thank you for that.
Cool.
I've done so well to keep that out of my brain.
Good
You
job.
don't like fucking the goo man?
To anybody who's left in the audience after that one, I'm so sorry.
Go watch Deep Space Nine. It's
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
in context. It's great.
Season 4.
I love Odo. Odo is
Season 4, episode 9.
Skip to the 17-minute mark.
All right. Anyone else want to poke the magic leavings of Frankie?
I don't think so after that.
I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
It's what
Make me a Constitution saving throw.
seeing them take on a Frankie-like magic delight is like. To carry on, to honor him, I wish to
True.
bring his magic into the world. Especially because he's out in the stars now. Okay, so con save. Okay. Okay. Oh, and I have the wrong name. That's okay. We'll fix it later. Okay.
Happens when you use the same roll 20 for one shots in between the main campaign.
Yes.
Ooh, we're rocking the favor of the gods.
Yeah, just in case. I probably don't necessarily need it, but I don't know what the DC is. So that's 28.
Ooh, that is also a good number. How many levels of sorcerer do you currently have?
18.
Okay. In addition to your normal subclass, you now also have all the features of the Aberrant Mind.
Oh shit.
Sorcerer subclass.
That's cool.
As well as an additional number of sorcery points equal to your charisma modifier.
Nice.
Oh, those are awesome abilities.
Yeah. Aren't you glad you died for them?
Yeah.
I'm hoping that I'm correct in remembering that Frankie was an Aberrant Mind.
Yes.
Sorcerer. Otherwise, these don't make any sense.
He was Aberrant Mind and he had 3 levels of Bard too. But, but I think the Aberrant Mind's cool.
Yeah, plus you went to college to learn about being a bard. Like the sorcerer stuff was inherent once you touched that.
Yeah.
How does Delight's appearance change?
I'm
asking.
Oh yeah,
Tom.
Frankie. Tom says that. Yeah.
Does Delight have hair?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would say that it's kind of like as Delight kind of touches it, it's almost like instead of like everywhere else where it's kind of absorbing, it's kind of like you are feeling kind of a sort of a vibration and kind of a syncing up with Frankie's power, and then it's a spark that sort of shoots through you, and it gives you like purple streaks in your hair.
Cool.
Your hair is like flowing back, and like you've got like purple highlights.
Nice.
Within it.
Big delay to blowout.
One of your hands has just like a cool. It would look. It's like a flat, like electrical kind of scarring, kind of going up. That's purple. Well, it's it's. It would be a tattoo if you had ink, but it's kind of more like a burn or brand. But it's got like a purple hue, and it doesn't have like a raised skin or anything to it. Like your skin still looks perfectly healthy, but it's got like almost, I guess, more like a birthmark would be a more considered but with a purple.
Which
hue.
would make sense because she has the red tiefling skin, so a tiefling birthmark might go purple.
Red and purple is a good look. You feel an affinity for
That's
metal
awesome.
that you didn't have before. Yeah.
Caleb, could I get that mechanics one more time?
Oh man! Once I say something, you got to write it down.
Yes, I was trying to write it down and got lost.
Psychic and one other ability of your choice. When you rage, you gain resistance to them.
Yes.
And then when you use your fire or lightning rage effect, you can essentially double or triple it, also with the damage types that you gained resistance to. So
okay,
if you
so
would
just add them on.
If you would do your lightning strike, and I think it's like 2d6 at this level, you could do 6d6, 2d6 fire, 2d6 psychic, 2d6 whatever else you choose.
Okay, that makes sense. I got you.
Or your fire thing, I believe that's just like a stat, like a flat like proficiency bonus damage. Instead of doing 6, you could do 18, 6 foot fire, 6 foot psychic, 6 foot something else.
Yep.
As complicated as conceivably possible.
What's up, Toki? Thanks
always
for
try
coming
to.
out. Appreciate you stopping by.
Yep.
It's D&D
Gotcha.
night. We're
Would anyone else like to
doing
touch
our
the magic rocks?
overcomplicated level 20 campaign.
Okay. As everyone has been touching the magic rocks, Dr. Gasalduk, now that you are a 20th level druid and no longer need to leave Starry form at any point in time, we've changed the art. Is there any other sort of visual change to the form effect?
Well, because you like to make all of the player characters super badass, when Cassandra got the Divine Spark, you let me have all of them at all of her forms at once. So I almost feel like there's sorry, something caught in my throat. I almost feel like there's like the barest whisper of the outline of the wings from the dragon form, like almost like there's trailing off, but it's in that kind of shape.
Sort of after image of the draconic wings. That's very cool. Very cool. Plus the just sort of general, I am a galaxy now.
I am galaxy.
Look that the form always had.
Yeah.
Very cool.
What's interesting to me, and I think might be true actually for Cassandra, and not just true of the art that I was able to find, is that this art, like, you can't really distinguish facial features.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I almost wonder if that's like kind of true for Cassandra now, and I don't. That have interesting character implications.
Well, one other thing that did happen last session that was very pointed at Dr. Salduk is our space tyrant Girin did mention that your partner and offspring are apparently alive and are allowed to miss you for the time being, whatever that means.
Yeah, she doesn't really believe him.
Probably for the best. He's not really known for his honesty or really any positive qualities.
But I think there is, with that and with what she's doing, that there is a little bit of a like basically Dr. Cassandra disassociating.
Yeah, no, just
from all of the world.
Taking a step back, because her arc since coming to this planet has been, oh no. Now it's been gradually discovering the truth about what she thought about herself and what was programmed from the exterior and what is actually true. So a fair bit of step back from reality in response to that is perfectly valid.
Yeah. Very much still just like on the fuck Girin train.
It's a good train to be on.
Yeah.
I'm glad that is a train. I've been wanting him to be the big since the beginning of the campaign, and I'm glad at least some of you hate him. I've done something correct.
Show of hands for anyone who doesn't hate Girin?
I don't know.
I mean,
probably.
Don't know yet.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows?
Oh yeah, no. We got one character who maybe doesn't hate Girin yet.
Character we haven't met yet.
True.
Yeah, we just haven't met you yet.
Hate is such a strong word. So we've all touched a magic rock, or thought about it. We have partially withdrawn into our story form a little bit. We've established one of ourselves as the Emperor of Tuskar. Are you all ready to go to dinner?
Certainly think so. Does anyone object if we stop by the forge first? Change out of the blood-stained clothes and into something, water-stained because simulacrum.
I imagine there's a fair bit of blood on Grum's clothing of his own.
Mostly his own, yes.
Right.
A little bit. So you take out your key to the forge, and I suppose you would probably bring Tigris with you. So let me find Tigris wherever he's hiding.
Yeah. I would say you are coming to dinner, so.
I mean, officially I'm still on duty, but I think you're in charge now, so I don't think that's a problem.
I think that's how this works, yes.
I just cast Prestidigitation, and my armor glows.
Ooh.
And all
And
the
then
blood is
you're-
gone.
you're-
And everything.
So there is that option. You don't even need to go to your
I mean,
your
you can
extraplanar
still
forge.
go. It's just fun to flex prestidigitation
Yeah,
anytime someone
prestidigitation.
comments on dirty clothes.
Yeah.
Dirty clothes, ripped clothes, get changed. Yeah. I don't have to rely on armor. So
True.
Yes.
For you, it's more a matter of putting clothes on rather than changing out of armor.
yeah, no.
Ye-
I have been somewhat filleted by the last
Yeah, you don't have a sacred relic of the order that you must wear as a badge of office. It's fine.
Yeah. Sergeant Yumi is all for getting adjusted.
All right. So you all
I'll say
hop
plus
back.
the forge allows us to go here, forge,
True. You are,
Shadowstone.
Yes.
that was my next question, but
Alright.
we'll handle getting ready first, I
Our
suppose.
secret teleport forge. Yay.
Your secret subplane of smithing,
Yeah.
where as you arrive, you can still hear the clang of hammer on anvil of Karn, the smith demigod, continuing to forge what appears to be a single suit of armor out of an enormous alien synthetic sun machine. So that'll be something at some point.
Yeah. For background, anyone in the chat, we made a deal with a forge demigod and got his
Mhm.
forge as a home. He gets to stick around because he's awesome. And we had him help us steal a sun.
Mhm. Just an artificial one, not a real one.
It was little.
Yeah. That's the next step for
The
Karn's
next step.
sun steal.
Steal the actual sun. Steal a star. I mean,
Yeah.
that would be a solid power source.
Oh yeah,
for currently need.
you got to start with mini stars, but then you can upgrade.
So the next step is a dwarf star.
And then you
I mean,
turn
Dwarf
that
Star is basically just solid minerals at that point.
Mm,
then you,
So-
delicious.
then you make a neutronian golem. The end.
I think
God.
again, stop helping. This is
No,
that's a good idea.
no. Let him cook. Let him cook. A golem made out of the heart of a dying star.
Oh yeah, that
It's
sounds.
I'm pretty sure it's the highest statted D&D creature ever made, potentially.
someone-
It's up
someone
there.
actually
It's
made
at least up there. Not for 5e, but
Oh, someone has attempted to convert it though. Oh, well, I will look at that for later things for you to run into in space. But yeah, you all have your own little subsections of the forge that you can certainly use to conjure an outfit if you would like to conjure an outfit, or if you already have clothing, or if you're fine as you are.
I will change into some of my fancier clothing.
What does Tuscaran fancier clothing look like?
Tuscaran fancier clothing in this particular case is a set of what were, prior to a growth spurt, relatively relaxed pants, but are now somewhat form-fitting.
Mm.
It is a loose shirt. It is a waistcoat and a longer jacket with a slightly militaristic cut. Said jacket has a very minor enchantment to expand with the wearer.
Mhm.
Typically designed for when older gentlemen start to put on a few pounds and don't want to get rid of their favorite suit jacket. This is serving a somewhat different purpose. I am taller and broader than I was at the start of all of this.
Mm-hmm. Tigris has just fairly good control over their appearance at any point in time, both through a combination of enchanted articles of clothing and armor, and a few
Good
other
taste.
tips and tricks and good taste. So I imagine the two of you get ready together, and it's probably, I would imagine, after, even though it's only been a few months since you were exiled, I imagine just the sort of the intimacy of getting ready for dinner together is probably
Very nice. Yes.
very nice. Little bit of pathos there. So I'm sure you two have a nice time there that we are not going to pay any attention to in game. But I just wanted to beat that it did happen. Is anyone else making special preparations for dinner? We can also treat this as a short rest if anyone wants to roll some hit die and all that fun stuff.
Absolutely, roll some hit die. Oh, dear.
Sergeant Yumi will prestidigitate himself. You see him like check a pistol and then like snap his wrist and it'll disappear, and then do the same thing again, and then his rifle, and he'll like make another motion and it'll vanish into thin air. So although he has all that stuff on him, the only visible weapon is a very like ornate looking rapier. And he adjusts his uniform a little bit, and up on the neckline further along, fancier style.
We're fitting
styling.
to dress uniform.
Yes. The appropriate adjustments to make the dress uniform.
Yeah, the asymmetrical clasp, Star Trek style, so it like comes across the side. I know exactly what uniform you're wearing.
Minev, your alien princess in hiding, does not really have a wardrobe, but I think she would put in an effort to make sure everything is as it should be in her appearance.
Given that we are in a forge, I'm sure there's material around.
There is.
And I am capable of casting like the fabricate and similar spells. So depending on, I'm assuming we're still trying to keep her on the DL. So
you do still have quite a lot of magic preventing people from noticing she exists.
Yeah. So it likely is just like.
Oh, say it's not for them; it's for her.
Yeah,
exactly.
So I don't know what she would want to wear. Military. Nondescript military, or.
I think she would prefer to be as unmilitaristic as possible.
I figured.
But just like a something shiny to indicate station.
Yeah.
But otherwise, she's never been a particularly ostentatious member of the family. So something simple but high quality is more her style, with plenty of room to move and do monk bullshit.
Let's double check here.
I have an ancient artifact that's an amulet that I can offer her.
Oh, what is this?
Just something from my background.
Oh.
It's just something from a dig, but Delight will be like, I know you don't really have like accessories that much. You can borrow this if you want.
Oh, what is it?
Well, I found it in the old fort where I found Hanzo.
Oh.
I'm not sure who it belonged to, but it was designed to bring good fortune to the wearer. And seeing as the fortress was destroyed, I mean, it's not actually magical. I don't think it's like bad or anything. It's not that it works or doesn't work. It's just more to remind you of the higher power looking out for you.
I think more than a higher power, it reminds me that I have you looking out for me. Because this is something that had its whole life destroyed, and then you found it, and now it has a new life. Thank you. And
You're welcome.
Seems to mean a lot to her.
See, just that much. Your outfit's already coming together.
This disaster family trying to raise one kid.
As the two of you are sort of in Manev's sort of section of the plane, it is clear she has been working on something the few times you've left her to her own devices.
Mhm.
Would either of you like to make me some kind of Arcana style check to see what she's been fiddling with?
You can do Arcana.
Really, as much of the session as we can spend before we have to meet Tom's new character, the best. So anything we can do to pad this out.
Guidance. Okay, cool.
Oh, wow.
Fuck it. Knowledge of a past life. Okay, so that makes it a total of 19.
19 is very good.
Oh wait, no. 8. Sorry.
18
17.
also-
17. There we go.
We're getting worse and worse.
I fixed it.
Is it going any lower?
It's 17. I have plus 9. 3 plus 6 is 9. Got it.
I am double checking the level of the spell. It's not exactly this. It definitely looks like it's a storage, some kind of magical storage device that would sort of draw something in and keep it there. Definitely something non-physical, like it's not like a water bottle. It's meant to draw in something, some kind of arcane or divine energy, and store it. But what that is, it's hard to tell. And it looks only mostly finished. Still a lot going on, and there are parts of it that are more technological than magical. They're a little harder for you to parse. Anyone else doing any dinner preparation?
Just throw things off as track as much as possible.
Good.
Did have a thing I've been meaning to message to you all week and realized mid-game that I've gone completely
Good. Yes.
Zephyr probably has been reaching out, especially through sending stones and the like. Also, maybe just through teleporting, because we can do that from the Forge. And is trying to work with whoever he can from Araqueth to get together a group to study as much Ventu tech as we can.
Okay. They're probably here in the Forge then, because you have the ship that Yumi requisitioned a couple sessions ago.
As long as the party's okay with that, he will pull in and personally spell vet everyone to make sure there's no Ventu spies. But we'll have pulled those in part because he wants to get some proficiency in the technology and language and other aspects that we don't currently have. But like he wants that to be working even when he's doing things.
Yeah, no. Make me a political insight check. So just roll me a regular insight check.
Insight for me. Oh, I always forget that wisdom is my worst stat.
I don't. You roleplay that very well.
Fire here is because I have proficiency in this.
That's a very
proficiency.
It's very low wisdom to not know you have low wisdom.
Yes. So that is 17.
Okay. That's probably enough. You are of noble blood and have been interacting with the court fairly regularly, and your sister is in the court now. Since Winzana is a close confidant and essentially political watchdog for the queen. This is very much something that the court was going to ask you for anyway. Access to Ventu technology. They have, especially since the ship crashed in Araquethian, the crash landed in Araquethian lands, they have since collected the wreckage of that, what survived the bombardment, and have been poking and prodding and trying to figure that out. So to have a team also working on an intact shuttle, everything they would have wanted. You've got Winzana on that team leading that effort. So your sister's here in the Forge as well, as well as probably half a dozen members of various noble houses, a couple of Jade Alliance folks, couple of sort of Brightwall cousins, not members of the main family, but you suspect that Zenra, your eldest sister, probably would be a part of this team if he wasn't in the field with Aku currently. So yeah, you've got your high elf artificer team poking and prodding alongside Nobu. So they're both stripping surveillance tech out of the thing and also just tearing the whole thing apart and putting it back together again to figure out how space travel works. So good shout out. That's going on in the background.
Yes.
Sick.
Because it can't be a high-level D&D campaign without 47 million proper nouns.
Yes.
Anything else anyone would like to do before dinner?
I think there is a very sad scene that happens in Dr. Left Lab.
Oh dear.
Do tell.
So Dr. Kasoldak, still in starry form, kind of basically like reaches and pulls off the two things that she's been holding on to that are like her family stuff. So she the first thing that she pulls is a little like Venthu teddy bear that has like an awards that her son won when he was in combat as a Venthu like army person. She takes that out, and she also takes out the equivalent of a Venthu wedding band, probably. That's been somewhere.
What is that? What do the Venthu use in place of wedding rings?
It's so hard to think of something that's not just a ring because I'm so used to like ring be the thing.
I mean, it could be a ring. That is a kind of universal shape.
In Welsh culture, it's a spoon. It could be anything you like.
Yeah. The Tuscarans have daggers.
Yes, this is true.
In space, it might be.
They also do tusk rings.
Also true.
A ship in a bottle.
Could be a ship in a bottle. Could be some sort of high-tech gadget. Could be an implant, because the Venthu don't have the same view of like the sanctity of the body that humans do.
Nose piercings. Those are very popular.
It's just an emergency contact bracelet.
It could be like a little piece of genetic material in stasis.
Oof. And that would be very fitting for two scientists that got married.
Yeah. Like here's a petri dish with my skin in it.
Absolutely, my heart.
Yeah.
So
You spent all that money on the ring, Jeremiah. You could have just carved off a chunk.
I know, right?
Oh, good leather working's expensive too.
So I feel like it's almost something that's like inobtrusive, like there is a chain necklace that like lays underneath everything that she pulls off that has this like little vial that is I would think on one side there would be like an audio message of like I'm committed to you and we've gotten married and like are journeying through life and space together.
The wedding vows recorded in the token, yeah.
So she takes both of those things and like definitely just like cries for a couple minutes.
Fair.
And then I think so bad. With where Dr. Kasoldak is,
there's a lot of molten metal around.
They get put into some kind of vaporizer.
Go nuclear on it. Okay.
Okay.
There's
You
There's-
bottle those feelings.
there's all
Don't
manner.
Don't feel.
Chop off the
Oh,
heart.
shit.
There's a river of slag you could just melt them down in. There's a you in your medical kit have ways of like totally eradicating a sample.
I think that's what it is. She goes to, I am not who I was anymore.
You sterilize your wedding ring. Oh,
Yep.
Ugh.
Oh, God.
oh. Mm. Yeah, and since you're sort of in story form all the time now, even the like absurd passive perception of Captain Yumi, the only other member of the party that would have any idea the significance of any of this, probably wouldn't notice because you have the star form over it all. It's like it's a very private thing that you have done,
Hmm.
and I don't see a way for it to not be private. So that works out. That's
I almost thought that she was gonna give, because the bear technically is a magic item that gives you like something extra when if you rest and you have it with you. And I was almost like, oh, she'll give it to Manev because it has a benefit to it. But
I think there was talk of that, but nope.
you know what? That we'll pull the medals off of it, and she'll give the bear to Manev, which gives Yumi the option of seeing it because he's seen it before at all.
True.
So we've now gone from completely heartbreaking to only mostly heartbreaking.
Oh, this is
She
worse. I think.
she goes to get rid of it, and then it's like, wait,
Yeah.
there's someone else now
Like you've
that I'm watching over.
It is not that she's watched. It's that this is something that's not just sentimental. It has a calculated
Right.
value.
Yeah.
Of, like,
her pragmatist is coming.
I'm still listening. I got to walk this off.
it's very much that sort of closing yourself off. This thing, I can't trust the sentiment that this has for me anymore. So the practical thing, now that I'm just not letting myself feel about this anymore, is to destroy the sample, destroy the metals, but the bear itself does still have some practical value. But we can't keep it because that threatens to make us feel about things some more.
Yep.
So we'll give it to someone who can use it. And in the process, we are doing that right in front of the only other person who knows the significance of this bear, who probably made quite a bit of fun of that, who took it to war with him in the barracks, or at least would have had the opportunity to. I don't know if Yumi would bother to make fun of someone for having a bear with them, but like, any reaction to that, Captain?
If she's bringing it to Manev, he will make a point of turning his head away and stepping out of whatever space that is currently being occupied by her. Like, it's very obvious. Oh, yep. And I probably shouldn't be here for this part.
Yeah. Captain Yumi evacuates the premises. Manev is grateful for the gift. Let's see what her insight is. Does she understand what is going on?
Especially because I feel like this is probably something that Kasalak had a hand in making when her son was little.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we can probably tech flavor the magic benefit that's on it somehow.
I'm gonna give her disadvantage because you're in starry form and no one can see your face right now.
No one can see the tears when your eyes are.
Yeah.
With your eyes of galaxies.
Yeah. No, that's not enough.
You don't want me to roll opposing?
Oh, sure. I was using a set DC, but you're a PC. It makes sense for you to. I don't know what you would want to use as a conceal don't feel roll.
I mean, deception is the most obvious.
It
Yeah.
is, but I don't. It's not that
Could
you're-
be performance too.
It could be performance.
Same number.
Wisdom is also the self-control attribute.
Okay.
So I could see an argument for a wisdom check, but I leave it up to you.
Depends how good you want to be at.
Which is a thing you're allowed to do as a DM. You can let your players make decisions about what rolls they make if you trust them, which I do, but you probably don't.
I don't. I think
You
with
can also
how,
mix and match the skills. Wisdom-based performance check.
Also valid.
I think with how quickly she is doing this, that it's more like pure deception, trying to not let a quaver happen in the voice, not let, because she's like going straight from I've been told they're alive and they're being threatened if I don't cooperate, to they probably aren't alive and he's just trying to use that to make me make a stupid decision to I need to completely cut all of this emotion off.
Yeah, I imagine that there's also a little bit of self-deception going on here as well, so deception makes sense.
So that is a total of 10 because I roll like crap most of the time.
Okay, that is less than what she rolled. Minerva does not have the full context to know exactly what's going on, but she can tell that something is wrong. So I think when you hand her the bear, she'll take it with one hand, but also take your hand with the other, and just sort of hold it. You sat with me when my sister died. Would you like to sit with me again?
Maybe when all of this is done. And because all that stands up, leaves the room. Like she's explained, like, if you rest and you have this with you, it'll, because I believe, if I remember correctly, what it does is that it gives extra dice when you roll hit dice on short.
Yeah, it's actually very helpful for the short rest she's taking right now.
I have it written on the back here. 2d6.
Nice. That saves her a hit die. Yeah, she won't stop you or anything like that. She's just she's made the genuine offer as much as she can, and you're able to leave with your composure intact. And Minerva makes sure that the bear is in a safe and prominent place, which probably will make it awkward whenever Captain.
Dr. Solak is never going back in that room again.
We found a way to keep Mom out. Mama. All right. Any other way we would like to traumatize ourselves before dinner?
You know, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm just sitting here thinking about my teddy bear upstairs. Thank you so very much.
The light's gonna use prestidigitation to make her cloak more colorful.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Maybe add some purple to the cloak to match the hair.
Sure. And anyone else who wants color shifting, I guess up to 3.
Does anyone else want some color shifting?
Or to be clear, a different color.
A different color.
Not
All right. At long last, I get to ask a question I was going to ask before we came here. You have 3 different teleportation circles you could use. There is the Ironhide Estate. There is the altered Stone Spear Estate circle that came with the invitation to dinner. Or there is the regular Stone Spear Estate teleportation circle. When last you heard, your mother was at the Stone Spear estate, Tigress's family, and that was where the invitation dinner was for.
Tigress, do you think your parents will mind if we arrive unannounced?
Well, I like to think that they'd be happy to see us. But no, let's keep them on their toes.
Any objections?
I mean, we also could just announce first. Somehow I feel like I have a way of talking to people who are really far away. I think it's the Emberstone.
Mm.
I had noticed the low lights, very fashionable.
Thanks.
I mean,
Sorry, what? What are we trying to figure out? Which
we're deciding where in Shatterstone to go to get to dinner. Tigress could also just sending his parents, let them know.
I say, but this lets Delight flex a little bit.
We can also let Delight flex.
Well, I don't want to mess up. If you want to surprise them, I don't want to mess that up.
I think that's the question. Do you want to surprise the parents, or do you just want to? Do you want to just arrive, or do you want to say, we have now received? We are now responding to the invitation for dinner. This is your country, Grom. So your decision.
No. In this particular case, glancing over and knowing Tigress the way he does, Grom will sigh and go, "You want to take them by surprise."
Of course. Like I said, keep them on their toes. We have to keep the old people agile. It's better for them. So we are teleporting unannounced to the Stone Spear estate, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
All right.
Say a minor social faux pas, but it'll be fun.
As you arrive, there is a very loud explosion. Like you appear, you're in a very nice sort of summer garden. Think south of Italy. It's a nice, warm, sunny day. There's various fruit trees. There's several sculptures made of marble that have probably been carved by members of the Stone Spear family because they're renowned artists and poets. You've sort of appeared next to a small amphitheater that's been used for sort of private performances of various plays and poetry recitals, things of that nature. And there's a sort of very nice, well-kept marble path leading up into a sort of nice country estate. The Stone Spears don't live in Shatterspear itself, but are sort of in the burbs where all the old money is. And yeah, you teleport in, and there's just this earth-shattering explosion, and you can hear something that you're all very well accustomed to hearing. You hear a fight ending. Like there's at the massive explosion, you hear like a crunch of something very heavy breaking something that used to be a body. That all seems to be coming from the house itself.
The sound of a baseball bat hitting a burrito.
Yes, so explosion, then baseball bat burrito, and then a bit of like I don't even know if there'd be that much cursing really, but the breathtaking that happens whenever initiative ends and people are suddenly able to breathe again. Tom, could you make me a perception check?
Sure. Um, 15.
15. Someone has arrived out back. Like you can tell that there's been a a teleportation circle has been accessed. And the sort of fully armored half-orc with you and the also armored but not fully encased in metal sort of both exchange a glance and head out to the back.
I will follow behind carefully.
Okay. What's everybody else doing?
Well,
Sounds
in the
like there's-
explosion, I stamp my wrist and pull the rifle back out of thin air.
Mm-hmm.
Make
You
sure
can
you
also-
call out which ones are foes.
You can
Hate to
also
shoot your
hear.
parents.
You specifically can hear 3 sets of footprints approaching because your passive perception is absurd.
29 now.
Like I said, absurd.
Level 20 D&D. It just
Yep.
gets silly.
I mean,
Three.
it's also just any amount of D&D with correctness.
Well, yes.
3 people incoming.
I Tigress, would you do
I-
let us know if any of them are your guards?
Tigress has shifted from instrument on back to sword in hand.
Oh, okay. In that case, there will be the appearance of a very large, very barbed axe.
Very imperial axe.
Very imperial-looking axe.
Yeah.
Aquila, the
Yeah.
bleeding eagle.
Yes. Emerging from the house, you see one figure you have heard of. Make me a no lore that I wrote myself check. Make me a history check, probably.
Okay.
Because I know you have heard of this person, but I don't know if you've heard of this person to the extent that you could recognize them on sight.
History, because I am actually somewhat good at that.
You are the noble background.
Yes. 22.
Okay. You see entirely encased in black armor.
Oh,
The
God.
Imperial Consort Black Maul
Oh,
emerged from the
Christ.
house, hands covered in blood, purple blood, and sort of bits of meat and wire. He's kind of limping. Like there's some of the blood on him is his, but you can also tell that he seems shriveled a bit. Like he's not filling the armor the way that you'd expect. He's very clearly on the last dregs of like he's just been through the ringer. Immediately following him is the I've forgotten the title, head of the Praetorian Guard, whatever that, Praetorian, maybe. No, I don't know. Basically, the Imperial captain of the Imperial Bodyguard, Tacitus Pontius Gaiork, who is in better shape, but also has that purplish blood and bits of gunk on him. And following them, Tom.
What you see standing sort of in the doorway is a fairly tall, about 6'2", human-looking figure, clad in a half plate that has sort of a. As you look at it, those of you who remember Dread will kind of see a similar uniform stance, but it looks much sort of a higher quality than what Dread could have had, like to an amazing, if you took his armor, you'd rank it like at least 3 different levels above it. And with that, you see kind of a cape or cloak that he's got on that is scarlet, sort of perfectly white, with sort of gold trim all around it. As you look at the face, you see a mask that has sort of a black it looks like a mask that resembles sort of the face of a dragon, that's completely sort of an obsidian black.
Oh.
That as he steps out, he kind of raises it up onto his head, and you see a sort of a golden-skinned Azamar with his eyes being sort of perfectly almost like pearl-like, but glowing, with bright red hair and a lot of freckles that are also red. Just kind of standing, and you see as soon as he sees you, there's a look of surprise, and then immediately just like goes down to a squint of major suspicion.
Who is he looking at that with suspicion?
Just you guys in general, all three of you, but mainly he's sort of the one that he's sussing out the most would be Grom.
His new boss.
Oh.
Yeah, he's definitely like focused. Like his immediate attention goes to Grom and Zephyr. He kind of is looking at both of them, almost like he's trying to. It's very much he's observing them very intently.
Would you like to make me either an Arcana, investigation, or perception check to see if these are any different from the earlier ones?
Right. I will roll Arcana.
Oh, have advantage because the plot demands it.
Absolutely. Okay.
Because as this Asamar is sort of looking at you with suspicion, Black Mole has his hands up and is moving as quickly as he can towards you in an aggressive fashion, backed up by Tacitus.
I got a 22.
You are able to realize that these are not the same as what you just encountered.
He immediately sort of his eyes go back to kind of they sort of squinting, and then they go back to sort of wide, remembering what he had just witnessed the clad in black armor just do, and he will sort of dash to get ahead of the sort of run and put himself sort of in between and go, everybody stop. They're not the same. I don't see any tentacles on these ones.
Delight just grabs Hondo's hilt as it rattles in the sheath.
Oh, Hanzo is rattling.
He was
stopping. Go ahead.
Hanzo was about to burst out and would have. And as soon as Delight picks up on weight, she should click.
The struggle is keeping Hanzo in the sheath.
Yeah.
But Hanzo does not like it here. Also, like something is wrong. Hanzo is blaring telepathically. He doesn't have a nose, so it's not smells wrong, but something seems wrong.
I try to use my new psychic powers to turn down his volume a little bit.
Make a intelligence or charisma check. Because Hanzo is on full tilt because Hanzo wants to be on bolt.
Just flat charisma would be 15.
Okay, you managed to turn Hanzo's volume from 12 down to about 9. Still on a scale of 10. Still very loud, but not deafening.
Not yet,
Rommel
Hanzo.
arrests his forward progress by breaking the flagstone in front of him with his boot as he attempts to apply the brakes.
Doctor, I believe they said tentacles. Did you notice?
Yes. Could I have everyone who has encountered the enemy make me a nature or medicine or perception check?
Perception.
Medicine, so 15.
Perception.
Or wait, no, because dragon form.
Yeah.
What does that do to it again? Let me look.
36 for perception.
25. The highest I can get.
Yeah, I think your minimum roll with dragon form is more than is 15 or something like it.
Floor 15 for the roll itself. So never mind. It is a 25.
Okay.
I got 18 nature.
Yeah, you all recognize bits of the enemy, and on Blackmole, some of the wiring that you've come to associate with enemy cyborgs. So, A, that kind of helps you understand what they may have just fought, and B, does tell the doctor that these three, and probably everyone in that house, have been exposed to aberrarial rot.
Mm-hmm.
Which I do have a way out of at this point, I believe.
You do have a cure. You can just zap them, which you were not able to initially do, but
Yes.
but
They look pretty down and out though, right?
yes, the Praetorian Tacitus seems in fairly good shape. Blackmole appears to be holding himself up purely through force of will. Like you can tell by looking at him, it's not just a hit point thing. Like this man's ability scores have been drained.
Okay.
And you said that there are, whatchamacallit, he's dressed in military garb. The guy that's Tom's character, right?
I don't know if Tom's character is dressed in military garb. Would they be able to recognize your
Well,
faction?
maybe I misunderstood what you meant by tiers above. You just meant in terms of quality?
Quality, yes. But
Okay. I thought you meant like you had more stripes on your shoulder or something like that.
not quite.
Well, he's wearing the white cloak, which is always an interesting thing with Hydra Express.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's an,
Yeah,
Hydra Express has non-military ranks. I guess.
yeah.
Paramilitary.
There you go.
I think it's apparent that you are a Hydra Express
Yes.
boy,
Mhm.
as opposed to a member of the Tuscarora military. Whereas Tacitus, the Centurion, that was the word I couldn't think of, is very clearly a member of the Tuscaran military hierarchy. Blackmole does not have an official rank.
He's like,
He's the first lady.
Yeah, this is the first gentleman of Tuscar.
I was about to say he's like Master Chief, then I realized Master Chief is literally a rank.
So as a like initial, basically show them, hey, we're not scary, like terrible people who are here to kill you. Casaldoc will grade a restoration from range because she can do that with the item she has.
Okay.
Is it just Blackmore that looks like it, or does it look like it could potentially be helpful for Tacticus?
It could also be helpful for Tacitus. Yeah.
So she, because she has that charm, she'll send out a greater rest to both of them.
Tacitus sort of stands straighter and sort of blinks before sort of sagging a bit. Blackmole surges a bit, but is still very much not fit for duty. Like he's not going to keel over. He's not going to keel over like he was about to, but he's still pretty messed up. But they do seem to relax off of immediate intent to violence. And Blackmole will just turn his armored visage to Tom's character. And in a voice that sounds like the vocal cords have been sort of scorched, and I don't know that I can replicate it, we'll just say, explain.
Well, the mother said that they did get an invitation. Maybe these are the real ones. There's only one. I'll need to examine them. But if they're dead, there's no way we can tell. And I very much need, and he points at Grom and Zephyr, them to remain alive.
Perhaps you should confer with the doctor.
Did you kill all of whatever came before us? Because it looks like you were fighting the enemy.
I do not know its name, but it is dead.
Yeah, it's
We're breaking up a little on our end.
That may have just been me trying to suck my voice back into my larynx. Blackmaw does not know what it was, but whatever it was is dead.
Mm-hmm.
all 4 of them are dead.
The captain will pull up a picture of the black TriStar symbol on the pad and like hold it up.
Blackmaw will look at it and nod.
Oh, goody.
I'll check to make sure they're actually dead.
Thank you, Captain.
I would probably need to...
And I will snap a salute, as is only natural with the Emperor.
Mhm.
Yes, and I will make sure I say that out loud. I will say, of course, Emperor.
That will draw Blackmaw's attention to the axe, and his fists will tighten again.
Hey, we got to make it clear from the get-go.
I know that axe.
Do
I
you?
don't know you.
I don't think any child of Tuscar doesn't know you. As to the axe, if you know this axe, you might be a fair bit older than I think you are.
You suspect he does not mean I know this axe personally, but just I know the significance of this axe.
Ah, gotcha.
That kind of age gap in a marriage would be problematic.
Well, you did mention that Hanzo was going crazy.
Oh, Hanzo is still going crazy. Oh.
Oh dear.
As 2 members of the party vanish because I've been handling the session so poorly.
Or, the
They're
the
never
breaking up
coming
was
back.
actually a problem on their end.
Probably. Once it is clear that you are who you appear to be, we will have words. And then he will sort of gesture to invite everyone into the house proper. Do we have Jeremiah and Crystal back?
They are muted, but hopefully we have them back.
Yes, the cameras and audio is cutting out on us, so I restarted, and it seems to be doing better.
Okay.
Cool.
What is the last thing that you heard?
Oh, we only missed about 10 seconds there.
Okay, excellent. Then Captain Yumi is making his way into the house itself. Is anyone joining him?
I'd like to twin cast a 3rd level Cure Wounds on Tacitus and Black Mole. So 3rd level, that should make it 3d8. So
That
they
sounds
both
correct.
heal 17.
Nice. They feel a lot better. Tacitus looks very much unbloodied. It does look like Black Mole tanked
A lot.
a lot of the encounter. Tom's character, for example, totally perfectly healthy. Doesn't appear to have expended any resources. Like it's almost fresh from the cradle.
The only thing you'll notice is that his boots look like they're like out of everything else that's clean. His boots are covered in the blood. Like he landed in it almost. Like it's just splashed up, but from the bottom up, as opposed to anything else.
Oh, yeah, I'll also cast Prestidigitation and clean them off. Clean all 3 of them off. Because one, Delight would do it just cuz, but also that's like biohazard tier
It is.
gore.
I think Tigress is probably rushing into the house as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, probably.
Because
Yes,
his mother is here as well.
Yeah, rush into house.
Yeah.
Very. Not a time for
Is it-
standing around
I would
outside.
say, is anyone not rushing into house?
Zephyr will move more slowly.
Okay.
If the enemy is here, he's looking for. He's very much doing a perimeter check of. Do I see anything moving alive in the area?
Okay. Make me a perception check.
Nice. Perception. Right, another wisdom skill. Okay, so that's a 21.
Okay. You don't perceive anything untoward. You do notice there are like fewer. You would expect to see ground staff in an estate of this size, and as you enter the home, you'd expect to see footmen. There doesn't appear to be anyone. The staff are all gone. It's strange, but no.
Zephyr will keep that particular observation to himself and keep watching.
Yeah.
Actually, there's one other thing he will do.
Mhm.
How many?
Turn into a dragon.
I can burn it. I can't do that until I get a long rest.
Oh yeah.
But I will do a pulse. Level 1 pulse.
That's what I was just
Nice.
asking.
Reactive.
Yeah.
You know what? Screw it. Level 2 pulse.
Yeah.
Just so we can, other people can see it if that's the case. 100. So on 100-foot radius of me, 20-foot or 10-foot bright light for everyone else to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you send out this electrical pulse that reacts with them through implants and is excellent at detecting shape-shifted agents of the enemy, and nothing appears to catch. Like you catch, you get like a partial ping of like a completely of 4 completely destroyed implants.
You sense the fragments in Black Maul's knuckles.
And as you all sort of follow the trail of Gorback, you do enter like a very nice tea room. That there appears to have been an explosion in the center of the room that has just splattered guts and gore all over these very nice tile walls and kind of broken several fancy pieces of furniture that hold crockery. The tablecloth is ruined, but there's like a 10. What's the radius on that explosion you made, Tom?
I think it might be 30 feet.
Yeah, there's a 30-foot circle in the middle of that mess that is just perfectly clean, because everything in that 30-foot radius got atomized. There's 4 larger chunks of gore, but nothing really much more. Actually, there's probably only 3 chunks of gore, because one of them was also at the center of that explosion and got. So actually, really, you only get 3 pings on that detect.
Okay.
To one side in this room, there is a gore-covered, sort of, kind of ageless half-orc woman, who's on her knees, sort of by one of the shattered pieces of furniture that held crockery, holding the remnants of like an old battered mug that has just been broken into 7 or 8 pieces. But Grom, you can recognize it as a old cracked mug that Marnius drank out of every morning.
Okay.
And that has been destroyed, and your mother is just kind of not caring about the gore on the side of her face, but is very focused on her husband's broken mug.
Favorite mug. Yeah.
That probably either you or one of your half brothers made for him. and he's not been in the ground that long. It's only been like a week or so. So she's experiencing emotion. And sort of standing beside her, being embraced by her son Tigris, is the matriarch Cornelia Stonespear, who is of age with your mother Asani, but looks to be that age. Your mother again has this sort of ageless quality to her that Cornelia does not have, but is still very finely dressed, very well put together, obvious matriarch of a clan of Tuskar, but who is very, in an uncharacteristically sort of emotional way, happily embracing her returned son. Because as far as she's concerned, Tigris has been away on a dangerous mission this whole time, so she's relieved to see him. And upon your entry, I think your mother will look up from the shattered mug and sort of just reach out an arm towards you.
I will run over and give my mother a hug.
You do this, and you are welcomed back. There's probably there's a few tender words of welcome that I can't think of right now, but it is everything that an exile returning home, embracing his mother for the first time in several months, if not longer, depending on how long you were gone. It certainly feels like it's been an age and a lifetime since you've last been able to embrace this woman who is not technically your mother, but raised you as such and treated you as such, and whom you've always felt as such. So you are welcome home.
Would someone please explain what's going on?
Before we get too far into the weeds, are there others that have run away that are contaminated?
Contaminated? Cornelia will ask.
The blood, the guts, the everything.
Well, for reasons that may or may not become clear, as she looks at Blackmole, we've been operating with limited staff. So no one else. Just the guests that wore your face, and those of us here. I don't think there's anyone else who's been bled on.
Sergeant Yumi will nod and snap his salute, and then begin whatever the standard, usually there's a team, but the standard cleanup and decontamination. Sergeant Yumi does have, prestidigitation and the other various mechanical side things, samples for the doctor.
Yeah.
Borrowing the doctor's portable incinerator. It's been freshly used for some reason.
You do recall from when y'all were decontaminated, it does involve burning layers off of people and things. So it is very much an incinerator-based process. But, for matters of decency, you may want to start with the wall as opposed to
that's the plan.
the people.
Because explanations would need to happen before we're going to throw a person into decontaminator.
Yeah.
I feel like the doctor probably has some kind of primer of this is what happens if you get arterial
You pull
rot.
up the video.
the video.
Arterial rot.
Captain America sits down on a chair.
Yep.
Say Captain Venthu.
So you fought the enemy, and now you're covered in goo.
Now you're going
But
to turn into the enemy.
But don't be alarmed.
The goo's not the worst part. It's the cellular damage.
Thanks to cutting-edge medical research.
You don't even have to have lich blood infused into you anymore. I actually found a legit cure.
I say we've moved on from necrotic
The
chemotherapy.
experimentation process has finally yielded.
Due to a
The best
whole ass
process.
campaign arc, I can just press a button and cure you.
Yay.
So the matriarchs listen to your explanation. They are polite women of society, so I believe they would probably insist on introductions all around. They will introduce their guest. Tom, what is your name?
Revenue
Mhm.
is
I hate him already.
introduced. Who is
Revenue.
Mhm. Is it 2 words or 1?
it's one word.
Okay, sorry, I split that up.
It's tiefling
in my
style.
brain.
I hate it slightly less than revenue.
Blackmall will just kind of attempt to find a seat and just kind of collapse against the wall and slide down it in a terrible scraping noise. Because it's very clear the danger is past. People are talking now. His job is done. He's out. But yeah, the matriarchs will say they had this wonderfully polite guest from the Hydra Express come, looking for Grom and Zephyr, who they'd never heard of before, but and there was nice chat over tea, and then Grom and Zephyr and a nice halfling girl and some sort of
Really small orc.
small orc fellow who matches the descriptions of Calda
Mercy.
and Mercy.
Yeah.
Arrived, and it was all very wonderful to see everyone. But Asani noticed fairly quickly that it wasn't actually Grom, and then they sprouted tentacles and tried to kill everyone. And this nice Hydra Express man was kind enough to vaporize one of them. Blackmole and Tacitus came up from the basement, and it was all very loud for a little while. And now you're here.
I'll hold up the amethyst tattooed arm. I'm unlikely to sprout tentacles.
You have changed a bit, though.
Yes, I imagine that the fake me looked a bit more like the me you knew.
He did look more familiar. He was a little too innocent. He didn't brood in the same way that you do, dear.
I can assure you I've gotten worse. A rather unfortunate fellow taught me the meaning of distrust. Kind of rub the throat scar.
Sounds like there is quite a lot that has been going on that we should hear about, and she will look meaningfully at Aguila. But I think you and Tacitus should probably speak to our other guest in the basement.
I had a feeling that we might need to have that conversation.
Yes, that was why I invited you to dinner initially. In that we had a new guest that I felt could end your exile and could make use of the services of a band of brave adventurers, but perhaps not.
I think that's a tale that, if my guess is correct, and I'm not quite as dumb as Durgan hoped I would be.
Your mother does frown at his name being mentioned. Like, you'd heard from Frankie that there had been a falling out between them, and it is very clearly the case. Mainly because your mother is living here, not at the Ironhide estate.
Yes, I do have to have words with him later. But, yes, I have a tale to tell, and I'd prefer to tell it only once. Shall we go to the basement?
I will keep the consort up here. You go down to the basement and make whatever decisions you feel the need to make, son.
Oh, good.
your mother is telling you that she is going to keep the Imperial Consort up here in case you decide to go kill the Empress.
Yeah.
So, cheers for that decision.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Mom.
She's going to support you in whatever you decide to do. Tigress will also stay up here and keep an eye on Black Mole. I assume the doctor goes through some.
The doctor goes to work.
The doctor goes to work, gets everyone cured.
Mhm.
Do y'all want to wait until that process is done before going down to the basement, or do you want to split
I
the
mean,
party?
it would potentially be another reason for them to not be going down the stairs because they're getting dealt with medically.
Oh, Black Mole is out of it. Like, he's unlikely to be standing up in the near future. But yeah, we could leave the captain and the doctor and Manev up here.
Rev will come up to Grom and just kind of, I think I should come with you as well. Our business might be affected by this. As he does that, he kind of opens sort of a bottle as he comes out, and as he kind of opens it, you would, Grom, you would notice in this kind of satchel some familiar looking potions. Ones that are of a Dimble-Dargle persuasion.
Oh God! I thought we'd run out of those.
You never can now.
No.
Oh no! Oh no!
You also see like a student license that's like signed by Dimble-Dargle.
Yeah, thanks for
My
coming in,
favorite
Sev.
apprentice.
Just
And
We
he
need
will
to run now.
playing
as
our
you sort of
D&D
are as you
for
take
the
an
week.
inhale, he has opened a container and the spell heal affects you. So it kind of opens it and it's kind of almost, it looks like a healing potion and then just zips into you like it kind of had its own sentience, and you'll have the effect of a heal spell.
Oh. Any kind of diseases or conditions taken care of, or diseases and poison, diseases cured, poisons neutralized, and the old 70 hit points. Not a bad handshake.
Certainly an interesting one.
Tacitus will begin leading the way towards the basement. And along the way, he will also be giving meaningful glances to the axe. When home fell, the Empress came here, Shatterstone. The intention was to set up a second capital and reestablish rule. But in transit, she fell ill, and we've been able to purge the poison. And every time we do, and every time she recovers and regains consciousness, we only get a few minutes before it's somehow reintroduced into her system. She's been cycling through bouts of intense pain, maddening poison symptoms, and near death ever since the fall of home. So several weeks. I don't know if you're aware, but that is a common Duskrunner tactic to prevent resurrection. You present the soul with suffering every time it returns, and eventually it stops being willing to return. Most people break after a few days, but the Empress is made of sterner stuff.
If the rumors are true, at one point she ran the Dusk Runners, so
Bit
I
of
find
iron.
myself unsurprised.
Yes. As he sort of leads you down a stone step into an older part of the house, the stone spears have an old sauna. It seems to help when she's awake, so we've been keeping her down here.
Don't mind the question, Tacitus. Why the stone spears?
He sort of looks at you to make sure you're actually asking that question. I thought you would know.
Let's
As you
just
said.
say I was a bit naive before I left.
Yeah. Well, she used to run the Dusk Runners. The Stone Spears run them now. Other than Black Mole, there's no one the Empress trusts more than Caligula Stone Spear. Not Caligula, sorry, Claudia Stone Spear. I think she trusts her more than she trusts me.
What am I getting myself into?
What have you already gotten yourself into? He says, sort of nodding to the axe.
Not what I expected. But then, that's life, isn't it?
That is what a lot of people say.
Down some stairs, through a short hallway, through a pair of doors, you come into a room with 6 Praetorians standing guard and a sort of broad, shallow, steamy pool floating on a little raft. In that pool is Empress Rowena Umberfang. She seems somewhat delirious, sort of shifting, sweating not just from the sauna that she's in. What is everyone who is here's passive perception? So Delight, Revenue, Zephyr, and Grom.
12.
12, 8, did you say, Rev?
Passive is what again?
Assuming you rolled a 10.
Assuming I rolled a 10, that would be 16.
Okay.
15.
15. Tom, what was your?
23.
23. So Revenue, you can make out in her mutterings the word mercy a lot.
The word or name?
It's a good
That's
question.
what that word is. It's also a name.
It is also a name. But she seems to sort of be right on the edge of
The
coherence.
edge, as it were.
The edge of the edge. The edge of coherence. So, what would you like to do, Emperor?
Oh, Christ. How long has she been like this?
Since the fall of home. Which, according to my calendar that I am pulling up right now, Rock's Fall was the 14th of July. It is now the 27th.
So, a week and a half. Almost
Almost
2 weeks.
13 days. 13 days.
Cool.
As I said, most don't last 2.
Given the amount of over-the-shoulder looking that Deborah's been doing, is there any chance you can recognize any of this illness from having been through basis, or is this purely appear to be from what it's doing?
You can make me a medicine check.
I don't have fun with that wisdom-based check.
Yeah. Well, the dice are helping me.
They do love you.
Often.
They often do. They're loving me right now. So that's a nat 20, 420. So do with that what you will.
How close do you enter the sort of pool that she's floating in, and like get up close and personal?
Interesting question. I am not a medical doctor by any sense. No, he will be trying to observe as best as he can from the sides. Does our telepathic means of communication allow us to communicate through like stone and the like?
Sure.
Then I will try and communicate some with the doctor.
I'll call the
Okay.
doctor.
So you
Hold it in.
So are you just sort of relaying all the data and
Yeah.
asking the doctor to make a decision, or are you asking the doctor to come examine the Empress?
I'm like, is this something that the Ventu had a hand in, or is this because the timing is suspicious enough?
Mm-hmm. It doesn't.
Is this Ventu based tech, or is this our doing?
You don't see any evidence of any kind of Venthu technology involved in her current state, but you can't rule out that it could be some sort of like bioengineered plague. So it's possible the Venthu were involved in it, but this doesn't look like arbitrarial rot, and you don't see any telltale signs of like a Venthu implant at work in her.
Okay.
And she's also not triggering your detect pulse, so you're not aware of any Venthu technology currently active on her. But
Perhaps calling the doctor is the right idea. In fact,
that is an offer to mentally remind that it's an offer to Grom.
Yeah. Realistically, as we were walking up and I was being told the Empress has been probably poisoned, Grom will have been relaying through Delight, who is our local psychic right now. Thank you for keeping the relay open, by the way, my dear. That the doctor is probably required.
Can I roll a history check for? So what I'm trying to like, because very long ago, there was somebody that I would know of their history of Prophet, sort of doing an underhanded deal that was shipping weapons that was targeting specific people.
Yep.
And I'll roll to see if I can remember the details of that, which my new character wasn't around for, but at least a third of us were.
Yeah, roll and see what you know of Prophet's dealings.
I was also going to say,
by mass, at least half of us were, because Grom alone makes up a third of the party's mass.
As you're using the telepathic link, you just feel it feels different now. It feels a little bit like when Delight heals you. There's sort of you just get a brief feeling of euphoria, but then your brain realizes it's not your emotions and like just sends it away. But like for a second, you're just like,
nice little positive thought.
Like a you can do it, but in sensation form.
I got 26.
Oh, You are aware that Prophet was arranging a I mean, Hydra Express would never have used the word smuggling, but a clandestine shipping operation of Tuscaran data and military materiel from the Silverskin clan to interested parties in the Mage Towers of Trelland. So yes, you'd be aware of that. Is there anything more you'd like to be aware of about that? As far as you know, that did not involve a plot to poison the Empress.
Gotcha.
But might have if things went poorly enough. Like that's very much always on the table. As far
Especially
as
when dealing with Prophet.
Especially with Prophet, and especially with Hydra Express Red in general and Prophet in particular, that was always on the table. But she hasn't really been in a position to pull a trigger on that for a minute.
I guess it would, if it could, like have like a there was kind of a list that came alongside it of a few possible like trigger men within Tuscar that might be able to pull off some sort of these kind of actions of willing parties that have a dubious or an easily bought nature for killing whoever might be involved.
There was a list of number of senators in Tuscar who would have certainly been willing to do something like this. Not in any information that the party was privy to, but that Revenue would have had access to as a high-ranking member of the Hydra Express, and probably would have read up on, since his new assignment has to do with a fairly prominent Tuscaran. No one had pulled the trigger on it yet, but it was suspected, just based on psychological evaluation, that Tacitus, the Praetorian Centurion, was probably bribable. There was an instability of will that Hydra Express Red felt they could probably take advantage of. There's no indication that they did, but they felt that it was possible.
Gotcha. He just kind of, as he's thinking about this, he kind of looks at everybody else and goes, "Wow, these people really don't talk much," as they're kind of like just communicating. A lot of deep thinkers.
But speaking of deep thinking, the sort of optimistic mental message via the light to the doctor has come through, asking for a medical expert in the basement. Will you stay or will you go?
Has she at least, gotten the
You've gotten everyone immunized. That probably took less time than the walk down to the basement.
Okay.
So no one's gonna die, but there is still risk of exposure. Like if a bird flies in here, you're in trouble. So there is definitely more work to do.
Yumi's on bird duty.
Give me a second here.
She'll kind of look at Yumi and be like, "Apparently my expertise is needed elsewhere. Do you have this handled?"
Yes, I will do what I can to take care of it.
Thank you, Captain. And she will.
Minev will sort of look between the two of you.
Wherever your interest lies, my lady.
I do not think it is wise to leave the doctor to her own devices for very long. If it is possible for you to quickly contain things here, I think we should follow her as quickly as possible.
That is true. From the doctor's perspective, is their work here going to take a minute more to finish? or is it going to take hours more to finish?
Probably hours to fully scrub.
I mean, magic, but
I mean, last time, again, when y'all were first exposed, there was an entire team of Venthu, and they spent half a day just sterilizing the area.
Mm-hmm.
So to like fully take care of this room and the path, it's the worrying bit is the contamination that Black Mole and Tassus took with them out of the room into the garden.
Yeah.
Like if you purge that, the tea room is fairly self-contained, and that's probably okay for the time being. So like a quick disintegration of the walkway, and then you're probably safe for a little while. Like you wouldn't want to go to sleep not dealing with the rest of it, but you could avoid splitting the party if you just take care of that one bit. So if you just want to either hand wave or have some tools for that.
I've got what I would need to do that.
Okay. I'll just
try to remember for later. I've got this wonder if we can. I've got this like Venthu tech based version of the Forbiddance spell. I wonder if there might be a way of doing something to that tech to sequester an area during
lockdown.
Probably. If you just want to mark off a use of that, we can say that already exists and you've done it.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I can do that.
Yeah.
So you see, he just like walks around the like chunking things into the ground and turning them on, and then there's like a big haze over an entire area. That helps.
Yeah, the scene is now secure.
Yeah.
And then I didn't want to interrupt before. The captain will like sort of at some point like awkwardly like point at the cup, and like I could like he doesn't really know, like it seems like a very precious little item, and
He's still like
he doesn't know this
closer.
person, and he doesn't know if this is like insulting culturally or like I could fix it.
My concern is, and she'll point to like a crack down one of the larger sides. I don't want this crack to go away, and I worry that if I just make it whole, I'll make whole the crack that Grom's forehead put into it about 20 years ago.
I see. A moment. And he will pull up a video about that Japanese thing where they repair stuff with the gold. I'm sure some subculture within Venthu does that, and he will like show it to her. Like, take a look at this. If this interests you, we can make this work later on.
She will watch the YouTube video with interest.
Yep.
So you have handed my mother an iPad. Is what
You hand her an iPad. She watches it. You and the doctor seal off the area and come down to the basement where there's this.
Say what you've done actually is you've handed my mother an iPad as she sits next to the head of the Tuscaran CIA.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. You have handed quite a lot of things to very interesting people to hand it to.
What could go wrong?
Sounds like a great idea to me.
Yeah. Doctor, would you like to examine the Empress?
Yes, I will. I will do so.
Make for me a medicine check.
Okay, so our floor is 25.
I would like to. Well, I don't know. Is there something better we could assist?
What check is happening?
The doctor is rolling a medicine check to see what's going on with the Empress.
I don't know medicine, but I know healing.
Yeah, you're welcome to assist.
So yeah.
I'll give guidance if
Hey, that's better.
Wait,
Sure.
if only we
guidance.
could stack guidance. I think we have
That's
3
4.
people who can cast it now. Or we have had that.
I-
4? 4 people?
I,
5
I'm
people?
hes-
That
have,
is not probably a
have-
good weapon to set.
have advantage on the guidance roll, I guess.
Okay.
So advantage on the D20, advantage on the D4.
Cool.
Okay. So now it's time to math.
Everybody's favorite part of the game. Math.
35.
35.
Woo!
There's 19 on the die and a 4 on the guidance.
Okay.
I should add 19 on the die thing to advantage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It originally was a 6. Which
So
would
with
have
the-
been
So with your sort of Dr. McCoy tricorder and with Delight's familiarity with the local biology and healing techniques and what poisons have historically been used to topple political figures,
True.
you can tell that you can tell that someone has been curing the poison as it's been manifesting.
Mhm.
Like it's been fully purged from the system, but it keeps getting reintroduced.
Okay.
And you can tell that there are like very specific. There's very. They're nearly microscopic, but there are entry points where the poison has been repeatedly introduced into the system. Like someone is continuing to dose her with the poison while she is still in recovery from it.
Okay.
And you can tell that, like you can even tell that it was sort of druidic magic that's been used repeatedly to purge the poison. But
Mhm.
while she's in recovery, she keeps getting re-poisoned.
Okay.
You can tell it is a Fantasian local agent, like the and you can sort of process the botany trace down to a plant that does grow in Tuscar. So it is very much a homegrown poison. But you also find faint genetic traces of who has been administering it with a 35. And it dings because it matches someone that
Yeah, I
just
just
inoculated.
them.
Yeah. So Tacitus has been poisoning the
Oh
Empress.
shit.
Mm.
The doctor will. Is there anything that she can do right now? Like, is there currently poison in the system?
There is currently poison in the system.
Okay, so we will go ahead and I think I only need a lesser rest for that, right?
Yes.
So we'll go ahead and lesser rest.
You purge the poison. She's still very weak, still a bit delirious. You can hear her mumbling the word mercy, and find comes through a bit.
Can I? Well, maybe she'll become more coherent, but I also could telepathically connect with her and see if I get a clearer message.
As you think to do that, Hanzo is becoming more and more insistent. There's something wrong here. It's worse. That something is bad here. Do you still want to open yourself telepathically and
Specifically about the Empress?
He's specific about this location, not
Okay.
about the Empress herself.
So
Also, it's unlikely
he's just saying like opening yourself up to anything other than your friends will be a risk.
this place is. I do not like this place. This place is dangerous. We need to destroy this place.
Can I roll Arcana or History about this place, or religion for that? Whatever might work.
Yeah, probably you're an archaeologist. This is a fairly old sub basement of a stately home, so you could advantageously roll me some history.
Cool.
I think while this is happening, the doctor will also call over Grom, as if she wants Grom to assist with something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
and then show him the data pad with the information that's relevant.
There'll be a moment of processing. Sorry, my dog is sniffing the dice.
They are delicious.
So what's the play? Because I'd really...
Literally your choice here.
Yeah.
Heavy
I
is
rolled,
the crown.
I rolled 29 on the knowing
Okay.
about this place.
As Grom is thinking.
If it's relevant to, maybe it was just orcs, but I'm able to tell who built it based on my background trait.
Yeah.
Okay. So this particular structure does predate Orcish civilization in Tuskar,
Okay.
and was originally built by like an old civilization that has some similarities historically to the fort where you found Hanzo.
Interesting.
Oh, goody.
So
yeah.
not it's not Shugazian, it's not Tuskar,
Right.
it's not Araquethian, but it does have some similarities to Clarion's underground city beneath Araqueth and the fort where you found Hanzo and this place here. And you're familiar with Araquethian history of 3 Lich brothers who once ruled that country long, long ago, one of whom persisted as Clarion, the Lich grandfather of Zephyr, one of which bound himself to his sword and lives on as Hanzo. And another of which, who also bound himself to a matching blade to Hanzo, whose name I have written down as Razshab, who had some connection to this same civilization.
So yeah, Delight will like have to stifle her excitement.
Oh yeah, this is what Delight wrote her thesis on.
Yeah,
this is incredibly exciting.
Awesome. I mean, for her.
Right now, it's just being used as a Roman bath / song or a sick empress, but this is historically fascinating. But also, Hanzo does not like this place.
Yeah. Okay. Good information. I don't have anything to really do with it yet, but that is very cool.
All right. Dr. Kasaldak will hear in her head, "Are you absolutely sure?"
The science doesn't lie, dear.
Thank you. That's all I needed to know.
And I have readied an action with my discovery of the knowledge that Tacticus is the more likely, just to if a move is made, I just want to have readied an action to cast heat metal on his helmet.
Yeah, you may have that ready to go.
So that's the response that a lawyer would have.
Yeah. You are aware there are like 6 Praetorians in the room with you who are sort of the elite Huskaran soldier, who, if this has been happening, would have to probably be aware of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty much resigned to that. That one of my first acts, and possibly last if things go in certain ways as Emperor, is going to be this one. Captain, or sorry, Tacitus.
Sir?
Centurion.
Clever but sloppy. Captain, kill him.
Roll me a roll to hit, and also roll me some heat metal damage.
Okay.
All right, let's see here.
I'll do it as a.
I don't know what he's where his head is at the moment, or will be in a moment, but is he like on guard? Is he surprised by this?
He has not taken an action in initiative yet. He is, yes, he is surprised.
I see.
Okay.
For the purpose of your
the
assassination,
tradition is a little bit
Actually, specifically, he acts. You get all the benefits of being surprised, but you can see in this guy's eyes as you're targeting between them, he is not surprised this is happening.
okay.
There is a resignation.
When I pull the thing up,
Mhm.
before I pull the trigger, my Scopy Dopey has true sight.
Ooh.
Is there any additional information that I get between the point where my eye clicks in and my trigger pull?
He's not under any kind of illusion. He's not shapeshifted. He is who he is.
Okay.
But you can see, in the sense that the eyes are the window to the soul, you can just see black maggots behind his eyes, just slowly
Whoa.
crawling. Like
Oh.
there is an artificial weight to this man's soul that shouldn't be there.
Okay.
So maybe
Cool.
some outside control.
Neat.
Or influence, at least.
So 32.
Oh yeah, that hits.
Come back, guys.
It's like the second person that the captain has just headshot
And it
out of nowhere.
probably procs all the things.
Yeah, all the sneak attack, all the surprise, all the assassin stuff. Also some heat metal damage from our good friend Revenue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't worry. And
16 fire damage, and what that looks like is just he literally just took a bottle out and just threw acid in his face.
What's the DC for the having disadvantage on everything? Con save? Or whatever the save is for heat metal.
Oh,
It doesn't have the damage, but it determines whether or not.
Right. That is 21. Con.
Okay. He rolled an 8 on the die, so he does fail, but not by as much as you'd expect.
Oh no.
Oh no, it's no, yeah. 21.
Is it? Okay. We return now to rogue math with
Yes.
Captain
This
Yumi.
is just regular bullet. No fancy
Okay.
bullets.
Okay.
Fancy bullets only come if I'm anticipating
hmm
assassinating somebody. But 84 in a combination of magical piercing and a tiny bit of necrotic, if the necrotic matters.
It does. Yeah, it goes through.
Okay.
So his helmet begins to melt into his skull
Oh.
as you just blow a hole through, like between the eyes, out the back of it, sending some like superheated shrapnel back behind, and he just turns to look at. Well, he was looking at you when you shot him, and he just sort of turns back to Grom. It doesn't really matter. From here on out, there is only despair. And he will quickly draw a knife and drive it into his own neck and finish himself off. As the water out by the Empress will begin to boil and bubble, as emerging from it
Yeah, I was
is
wondering.
a tiefling bearing a sword very similar to Hanzo. The members of the Praetorian Guard around you sort of sigh, and as black hands just kind of crawl out of their mouths and sort of tear them apart
Oh shit.
into dust as they are, as a set of Nightwalkers emerge out of them.
Do I have a moment to cast a spell?
Big question.
We're in a cutscene. Then so
Nightwalker's big voice.
so the Nightwalkers emerge, and the winged tiefling, encased in sort of ancient armor, bearing Rashab, the final of the Lich brothers, will sort of point the blade at Delight. I waited for you as long as I could, sister. As Despair Willowspark emerges. And what would people like to do very, very quickly before initiative happens?
I mostly just want to clarify that the Empress is probably not all the way in the center anymore, since we were just examining her and working on her.
True. We'll say we brought her over
Yeah,
to you.
the spell I was going to cast was just Vortex Warp to snatch
That's
her
literally the
next
exact thing
to
I
us.
was thinking. I was like, man, I hope somebody has Vortex Warp.
Turns out you don't need to. She's over there near you.
I was thinking about casting Maze. Well, that's what I was going to do. So if I can still, I was going to cast Maze and get the Empress out of here for the time being.
Just use Maze to yeet the Empress to another plane of existence.
Oh, shit.
Yep. She's out of it. She's recovering. That gets her out of the fight.
It is a very interesting.
That's actually pretty smart.
For the next
An
minute.
interesting, use of the.
I will permit you to expend an 8th level slot before initiative happens,
Yes.
to safeguard the Empress. And then let's roll initiative so that we can come back in 2 weeks and actually fight this encounter.
Ooh, lovely.
Hell yeah.
God damn it.
I so rarely play characters that just get to be like turn on the like pretty cold-blooded switch and just be like, all right. I find it very enjoyable just to be like, well, you're dead.
I mean,
That's what's called for in this situation.
better for like depression suborned
But
military
maybe.
men rather than the not a child because children don't exist in this world that you did it to last time. That is
Yep.
a dog.
Yep.
Uh,
Hey, Sybil, say hi.
My initiative definitely makes sense for Revenue not having been with the party before, just being like, wait, what the fuck just happened?
just found out that I failed to actually program one of my macros to roll dice, and it's the initiative macro.
Who's a good boy?
Whoops. There we go. Ow. All that work and you rolled mid.
Grom will use his pre-combat action to turn to the one person that hasn't turned into a horrific monster of the night
Mm-hmm.
and go,
First time.
sorry to drag you into this, but kill or be killed, I think.
It's more Frankie's fault than yours that I'm here, so don't worry about it.
Doctor, what is your initiative?
11.
11. All right. We'll call that 11.5, so you go before Minev. Do we have any ties? Grom
Tim.
and Delight can...
Yeah.
Tim, would you like to go first or me?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
Delight will be 21.5. Zephyr will go before Despair.
Seeing your long lost evil sister has a way of upping your initiative.
Yeah, no, you're more motivated than Grom. That's okay.
Well, she's not
All
exactly evil, but other people might think that. Delight would be like,
Opposed.
well, it's my sister. She's not evil. She just does bad stuff.
Dissonant.
Yeah, exactly.
evil things.
It's cognitive dissonance. You have to you hold both things to be
Mhm.
true, and you don't reconcile them immediately.
All right. We will We will pick this up in 2 weeks' time,
Yeah.
and now that you finally come to dinner,
Now now, if everything goes well, Delight can dual wield katanas.
I have already written up the final Hanzo
Or-
upgrade.
Yeah, or I hold one and make the other one fly. Or yeah, many different possibilities.
It is worth noting Miyamoto Musashi, the swordsman, is best known for his two-sword style.
Mm-hmm.
So
There we go.
So yeah, we're wrapping up the stream. Next week, we're back to our seafaring campaign that we alternate between. So come check that out for a different flavor of
nonsense.
wacky fun.
Still high level D&D.
Indeed.
Yeah, level
Someday-
19, it's not level 20.
We gotta go get Clarion and force him into a sword, and then
Right.
you can roll a Noah Zoro in.
Yes.
I tried so hard to give you the Clarion sword, and you refused to go anywhere near him. So no, I tried.
It's too late. That bridge is burned. That door is closed.
I mean, it still
You took the
exists.
left-hand path there.
Well, I do have the trait. When given the choice of going left or right, I always go left. So I kind of had to.
Yeah, you had the left-hand path.
So yeah, next week for seafaring, 2 weeks from now for the continuation of this, and so we hope you had fun, hope you had some laughs, and we hope that if anything's weighing on you, it feels a little bit lighter after hanging out online with friends. And until next time, bye.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.